Hey guys, it's Jacqueline and welcome back to another speed build in The Sims 4. Today's video is the Gilmore Mansion. This is another build in my Recreating Stars Hollow series. This build is evil, which is the first thing I want to start out with saying, and because it is so evil, and it took me literally forever, I had to split it into two parts because it just, okay, listen, if I had done this video all in one part, it would have been literally an hour long, and I like listening to myself talk. No, that's a lie, I don't, but like, you know, I can talk decently well, I feel like, based on my voiceovers in the past. I do like 35 minutes sometimes, but like an hour is pushing it a little bit. So I considered like doing one of those things on Twitter where you like ask if people have any questions to do like a Q&A or whatever, but then I realized that I don't have that many Twitter followers and probably nobody would really be interested in that, so I didn't do that. I just decided that I would split this into two parts and do my best to talk it out. But I usually don't like splitting builds into two parts because the thing is that it takes, so you can't like accurately split the build, I feel like, because you have to like divide it into specific sections, because you're not gonna just do like, oh yeah, halfway through when I stopped building is when I'm gonna split this, and then like the second part is gonna be the second half of my building, because I build in like kind of a roundabout fashion. So like I do the exterior and then I do the interior and then I do the landscaping and like a bunch of the final touches in the backyard and all that stuff, but I wanted to have all of the exterior in one build, so I had to sort all of that out. And then the other thing is that you have to finish the whole thing. Because I do it like that, I have to finish the whole thing in order to be able to put the video out, which means it takes longer. So this took me like 4 days to build, which is not ideal because I'm trying to do like uploads every other day, which, yeah, it did not happen this time. But I really tried my best, and so this is going to be two different videos. I feel like it's a cool build in my opinion. I know I said it was evil. I still stand by that statement, but like overall it's fancy and nice, but it's just not my style necessarily. It's not my taste. I'm kind of morally opposed to the existence of mansions. Like I just don't see the need, you know? Like I get some people are like really wealthy and they want to own a big house, I guess, but like, you know, why? I don't know. I mean, you do you know, if you can afford it, whatever. But anyway, today's part of the video, or part of the build I guess, is going to be the exterior of the house in its entirety, the backyard, so that includes all the landscaping and stuff, and then the pool house, because the pool house is like just basically one of my builds, one of my regular old builds, you know, like just a little house. It's a 1-bedroom because it's a pool house, and that's the type of thing I do on a regular basis. So I was like, there is no way that I'm fitting this part of a build into a build that is already super long because it's a mansion, and it's just so, yeah. Anyway, I called this one a mansion. It actually is a mansion, I think, because I have a tendency to call stuff mansions and it's like 3 bedrooms and it's not really a mansion, but I think this one counts. I think it does. And also in the show it's definitely a mansion because it has a 3rd floor and a basement, so it has 4 stories. I only built it with 2 because I don't have a death wish. But yeah, anyway, the exterior of this build was really difficult actually, because the thing is, we get one exterior shot in the entire show, and this one exterior shot is from kind of a weird, unflattering angle as well. So I struggled, I was flailing for a bit to like figure out where exactly I was going with it, but I do think it turns out nice. It's like sort of this American Gothic style. It's supposed to be in Hartford, Connecticut, so it's like an uppity area, I guess, the Ritz, you know, but it's just not really my usual building style. Once we get into, or sorry, we won't see the interior in this video, but if you watch the next video, when you see that, the interior is very gaudy. There's like lots of golds and I don't know, pinks for some reason. I think that's just because Emily decorated it and she likes pinks. I should probably go over the storyline. By the way, so this is from Gilmore Girls, like I mentioned at the very beginning. This is Emily and Richard's house, and I am just doing this entire series where I'm recreating a bunch of different builds from the show. So if you would like to see the rest of those, the playlist will be linked in the description, probably the cards if I remember to do that as well. And so far I've done Luke's Diner, and a lot of other builds from the town square and Kim's Antiques, and I'm not going to go over all of them because it's too long of a list at this point. And this is actually my third to last build. After this I just have the Dragonfly Inn and Lorelai and Rory's house, and then I will be done, and that's that for the builds. Then I'm thinking I want to do castles with the townies because Yeah, I don't really know what my intention is with all of this stuff, but I just think it would be fun to do the townies too. I'm a little obsessed with Gilmore Girls. It gets kind of problematic at a certain point, but I don't think we're there yet, so that's okay. It's fine. But basically, the characters that live in this house, Richard and Emily Gilmore, they're like very, very rich, obviously. They're kind of old money, and so Richard is an insurance man, and he is... Well, he doesn't really like the insurance business. Actually, he retires from it in, like, the 4th season, I want to say. And then he ends up going into... No, it can't be the 4th season. It's before that, because Rory is still in high school when he retires. But anyway, he ends up going into business for himself after that, and he then owns, like, a consulting business, I think. And so, yeah, he's basically just a businessman, and that's pretty much how he gets all his money. And they've never really, like... struggled for money, either of them, so they're very, like, sort of out of touch with reality a little bit, I think. But then they have a daughter who goes on to be one of the main characters in the series. So their daughter is Lorelai Gilmore, who has Rory Gilmore when she's 16, and then basically they are, like, the main characters of the show, if you will. But Emily and Richard are sort of adjacent to them, so they're, like, very prevalent in the show. They appear in pretty much every episode, I think. So we see this house a lot, particularly the interior of it, because they have Friday night dinners. So each week, or each episode, basically, we see at some point the interior of the house. But we only see the exterior, really, in this one picture that they show, that, like, it's the sort of picture that they flash when you're, like, about to enter the house, so that it's established that they're at the house, you know. So that's unfortunate. In terms of my recreation attempt, but I still feel like it went well. But anyway, as for the character of Emily and Richard, they are, like I said, a little bit out of touch. They're very materialistic, I think. I don't know if that's necessarily the right word. They have not that much value for goods, but they just, like, for material goods, but they just keep buying them, I guess. I don't know why. But yeah, that's a thing that they do. But it's not really a problem for them because, like I said, they have a bunch of money. And so Emily doesn't work. She is a DAR. I believe she's, like, the president of the DAR at some point, which is the Daughters of the American Revolution. It's, like, this whole patriotic society where they all, like, discuss the founding fathers of the country and whatnot. Yeah. Anyway, so she is, like, really into the social scene in Hartford, I guess, because, like I said, it's a lot of, like, affluent, really wealthy people all living in this one specific town or city together. So she's very much, like, kind of aristocratic in that sense. And that is pretty much, like, what to say about their characters. They're definitely, like, more conservative on the traditional side of things, which I think they kind of have their bounds pushed a little bit in that regard throughout the show, because, like I said, their daughter does get pregnant at 16, so they kind of, like, have to make compromises with each other in order to remain in each other's lives, which is, like, an interesting storyline. I think the show explores it pretty well, actually. But sorry if I'm getting, like, a little analysis-y about the show. Again, I did that in my Kim's Antiques build. I realized afterwards that I was like, see, I'm a nerd, and it's, like, it's very obvious when I'm in school, because, like, I'll be talking about any random thing, and I'm just, like, talking about it and kind of analyzing the situation in a way that's not necessary. But I don't usually do that on this channel, but I did that about the TV show, so I'm sorry about that. Hopefully nobody minded, really. But yeah, I just really like the show, and I think it's a good show, so you should all watch it if you haven't already. Oh, by the way, sorry if this looks really weird what I'm doing here with the roofing on the pool house. I don't know why, but for some reason it wouldn't let me place roofs on top of it, so I had to put it on the main house and then, like, drag it out for some reason. I'm really curious about that. Actually, I encountered, like, several glitches while I was building this. There's also one where if you have move objects on and you place a fence and then you place if you place a fence and then you place a gate on top of the fence and then you, like, move it, the fence will just be blank, like, it won't be there for some reason, and that was really frustrating. So I had to, like, restart my game, like, 4 times to fix that, which is also why I had, like, 2 little bits of fence sitting out there right when the video started, so I don't really know why that happens, but I found a forum about it that was from, like, 2015, so I think it's just one of those issues that they still haven't fixed, which means I'm assuming at least that it's, like, somehow difficult to fix. I don't know. Either way, that was fun. I don't I don't know. Yeah, that's always the thing with like doing huge builds, is that you encounter so many issues that you didn't realize were in the game when you're just going about your day doing your like usual types of builds, and then one day you try to do this and you use actual fencing surrounding your build and you're like, wow, that was a problem. But it's okay, I got over it. I'm over it now. I swear, I'm not still bitter that I had to restart my game like 4 times. Anyway, the pool house is interesting. Once we get into the furnishing of it, you shall see that it is just a whole big adventure. I don't really know what they were going for in the decorating style for it. Like it's nice. Nice question mark. I don't know. It is sort of mid-century-ish. Like looks like the vibe that they're going for is retro, with a lot of like sort of summery colors and stuff in it, but at the same time, it doesn't fit at all with the rest of the house, like the main house, and I don't really understand why they would make it like that. And then also, I just don't agree with some of the stylistic choices. Like this kitchen, okay, fine, have the traditional counters, or have the puke green modern counters, I don't care, but don't put them both next to each other, like they don't fit, you know, but I had to, because it's what they did in the show, so I had to recreate what they did in the show. But overall, I think that it was really difficult to get my footing in terms of this style, because I've never really done it before, but I ended up actually really liking it. And there are a few people who make Sims builds that really love this style and do it all the time. I've seen a few builds from some of them that are just amazing. I've never actually like really explored this style much before, so I guess I wasn't really doing it justice in my original opinion of it, but I think once I get it figured out a little more and just more sorted with what direction I want to go exactly, that's when it looks better. So right now it's definitely a mess, so just to be clear, this is not what it ends up looking like. But yeah, my sister actually came in while I was building this, and I told her about my deep hatred for this style, and she told me that I shouldn't judge too quickly. So I didn't. I restrained my judgment. Restrained? Is that the right word? I think so. Restrained my judgment, and then I determined that it's actually quite a nice style if you really know how to do it, which I feel like I sort of figured it out by the end of this. I don't know. The thing is, it gives me California vibes, which this is obviously like an East Coast build, so it's not really something I would expect. I mean, there's like a ton of mid-century houses in California, at least where I live. They're all over the place because like Eichler was a big thing here, but there's not really, I mean, I don't imagine there being a lot of those on the East Coast. I've never actually like been, I've been to New York, but I've never been to like the more Hamptons areas, so yeah, I wouldn't know, but I just don't really picture those being there. But either way, yeah, overall I just feel like the style doesn't really fit into the rest of the build, but that's my main complaint about it. But there's a lot of like light golds and stuff, and like I said, a lot of summery colors, so sort of peaches and I don't know, greens, yellows and whatnot. Wow, I'm just killing it with the vocabulary tonight, but I think overall I do like it. But what I actually noticed is that Cats and Dogs has a lot of items that go really well with the style. I wouldn't say those couches, but I used them because they were the most similar to what they had in the actual set. But sorry, there were several items from Cats and Dogs that actually came in really helpful that I didn't really realize could fit so well into this style. Like even those curtains in the green color, they work so well for this. Like I've never used those curtains before, because just when are you going to use those? They're like geometric and green. I have a thing against green in builds for some reason. I think it's because I use so many plants. Like if you watched any of my builds that aren't me trying to recreate something like before this series started, I use plants everywhere, like all the time. I'm kind of a plant junkie in The Sims, in real life. It's great, but yeah, I feel like having green furniture doesn't really go well with plants, unless your theme is literally like to have plants all over the house, in which case it's great, do whatever you want. But for the sake of regular old builds, just green doesn't really float my boat for some reason, so it was kind of interesting using it in this build, but I do end up liking it. Like, I think I now have a new appreciation for green. That's definitely something I've realized doing this series. I tend to do the same style over and over again. I have a few, so I'll do like a rustic build, and then I'll do a traditional build, and then I'll do a modern build, and then it just, the sequence starts over. Oh, and of course, like bohemian. So yeah, I feel like I'm learning. you know, how to do some new styles, so I'm having fun with it. But yeah, overall, I do come to really like this area of the build. I know it seems a bit weird and like eclectic and chaotic right now, but once it comes together, I'm actually really happy with the way it turns out. So just let me know if you agree or disagree, whatever. I mean, if you hate it, please don't tell me you hate it. See, I'm gonna get a hate comment now. That's just how it works, isn't it? But I don't know. I mean, I guess actually if you don't like it, let me know, because then I can restrain myself from doing builds like this in the future. Yeah, but I probably won't, because I don't really take that much advice. Anyway, oh, this disgusting green tile. Ugh, it's horrible. It's putrid. I hate it. But I had to use it because it's the closest resembling thing to what they use in the show, and I just don't understand. That's one of those things where I don't understand, first of all, why it exists in The Sims, because I don't, like, in what context are you going to use that? I mean, I guess here I used it, but like, in ordinary circumstances, why, you know? And then I also don't understand why they would put it on the set in real life. Like, there are so many better options, you know? I know mid-century and, like, architecture from the 70s, houses from the 70s, 60s and stuff. They liked their eccentric patterns and whatever, but green, you know? Varying colors of green too. It's like not just one shade of green, not just a solid kind of light, subtle, understated green. It's bright neon greens, and I don't understand it, but yeah, that's my only big complaint. So just that and the fact that the style doesn't really fit into the build. But other than that, it's all positives all the way. I'm happy with the build, you know? So yeah, but you will see, don't be deterred, by the way, from coming back to the next video, because in that video, part 2 of this build, completely different style, I promise you. If you came here for like the fancy mansion, like gothic interior design, that is what you get in the next video. Today's video is just, I don't know. I don't even know. I'm sorry, I came so close to crying during this build, because you think I'm being ridiculous. The footage, it was like 9 hours. 9 hours, okay? You don't understand how absurd that is. Like, before that, the longest build I've done was 7 hours, and it usually takes me like 3-ish, 4 hours, maybe max, to do a build. 9 hours, and that was just the stuff I recorded, okay? There was literally stuff that, like, a lot of the landscaping and stuff, I didn't record that because I knew that I wouldn't be able to fit it into the videos. And the stuff that I recorded was 9 hours. So, I feel a little bit of resentment towards this build, because honestly, did it even turn out that well for the amount of time invested in it? I don't know. I think it did. It's okay, you know? It's like, it's whatever. But anyway, how are you all doing? Hopefully you're, you know, good. Hope you're doing well. I'm pretty okay. I don't know. I'm just kind of, everything is kind of a mess, you know? I'm sort of in that chaotic state of like getting stuff done, but am I really okay? I don't know. But I made a trailer reaction video for Eco Living, which I haven't technically talked about in a build yet. I talked about it in the trailer reaction though. It was a trailer reaction and breakdown. And that video, I didn't really expect it to do very well. I kind of just wanted to talk about like my thoughts on the pack, because I had a lot of them and I was really excited about it, because I don't know, probably you might have heard me talk about it before, but I'm sort of really into like green stuff, you know? Green stuff. See, that's funny because I just went on a rant earlier about how I never use green in builds, but like, I mean eco-conscious stuff and stuff like that. So I was really excited about the pack, and I got really excited about the trailer because I like broke it down for myself, and I was looking at it and I was like, ooh, there's the thing I want to point out. There's the thing I want to point out. And first I was tweeting the stuff out, but then I was like, I'm gonna have 100 tweets in a row of like, is this bikes? Are these like fancy wall hangers? Whatever, you know, like dumb. So, what I did instead was filmed a video of myself talking about it, and that was more well received than I would have expected, so that was nice. But I do feel bad though, because if people came from that video and then they subscribe to my channel and then they stick around and they realize that the majority of my channel is just like me talking about myself to random builds, then it like, they might be a little disappointed, but that's okay. I think it's fine. Anyway, I'm very excited about Eco Living, Eco Lifestyle. I am going to call it Eco Living probably every single time I mention it, so I'm sorry about that. Just, you know, gotta preactively apologize, because I can almost guarantee you that I'll do that. So yeah, I'm really excited about that pack as like a concept. I know people aren't really excited about it because, well, first of all, because they feel like we got all of the stuff that would like go into that pack already, like with Laundry Day and with Tiny Living and Sulani. I just called Island Living Sulani. Nice job. But I don't know, I'm still excited about it, so I'll stop talking about it now. Either way, moving on, I have a post-it note again because I realized that I still need stuff to talk about, especially since this is a 30-minute voiceover. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. Whew, this is rough. Anyway, the post-it note actually doesn't have a lot of stuff on it, unfortunately, because I haven't had a really interesting life for the past week or so. So, let's see. We've got, oh, haha, mom watching vids, Carla Powell, as it reads directly on the post-it note. Basically, there's a funny situation that unfolded, which is that I discovered my mom on her, so she has a computer, right? And on said computer, there was a tab, and I was looking at this tab that was like, it was like one of your like saved bookmark tabs, whatever, that was titled J Sims, and I was like, J Sims, what could that be? Possibly Jacqueline Sims? And so I clicked on the tab because my mom has never watched any of my videos, like literally ever. I've told her, like, she knows they exist, obviously. I mean, if my family didn't, can you imagine if my family didn't know that I made videos and they thought I just like talked to myself in my room? That would be funny. Sorry. Anyway, so I know that like she didn't watch any of my videos, she never has. So I was like, this is kind of weird. Why would she have this tab of my channel, you know? So I clicked on it and it was my channel, in fact. And then here's the funny part, she had a literal like separate account made for it because she didn't want to watch them from her like usual account that she, I don't know, like her email account or whatever. So she made an entirely separate account for it, whose name is Carla Powell. So that's funny, because like our last name is not Powell, or her first name isn't Carla. I don't know where it came from, but yeah. So the funny thing there is that this discovery happened like 2 weeks ago. She still hasn't watched any of my videos. So like, I don't know, Mom. I don't know what you're doing with that, but like, you know, the good support, it's fine. Honestly, like I'm kind of mostly okay with that because I feel really awkward about people that I know in real life watching my videos because, yeah, I mean, like nobody really knows about them. I have like a few friends that know about it and then my family, obviously, but like I think most people I know in real life that know about it still don't watch the videos, so it's like chill, you know. But yeah, one of these days she might actually watch a video and then I'll get a comment from Carla Powell and I'll be like, wow, I know who that is. I mean, she knows that I know, so it's not like a secret thing anymore, but it's funny because my entire family knew about it. None of my family watches my videos though. Like my dad has never watched a single video, my mom has never watched a single video, my sister occasionally watches my videos, but like they were all in on this. They were all like, yeah, anyway, good times, right? So that's funny. I don't know, is that actually funny? I sometimes wonder if my anecdotes are just useless and you guys are like, yeah, shut up, so I can like watch the build, you know? But I don't know, I crave social interaction, I really do, especially in the current circumstances. So yeah, anyway, another funny story is that obviously we have Zoom classes for all of our classes, right? So it's basically like once a week you have to go to a Zoom meeting for whatever class, for like all of your classes basically. And so we have Zoom for my choir class, which is like chill. Basically all we do is just like sit there and listen to our teacher talk, and he like gives us warm-ups, nice, cul-de-sac, warm-ups and stuff. But like, do you really have to do them? Not really, because it's not like they can hear you or see you, but I mean I still do them because like the benefit, you know, it's beneficial to your voice and whatnot. But the point is that I was Zoom calling with my aunt, and that was the plan, to do it later that day, the day of my choir class. And she was like, okay, can you send me an invitation? And I'm not very fluent in technology in general, but I'm not fluent at all in however Zoom works. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll send you an invitation. And so I did the intuitive thing, which is to go to your profile and like click on the little button that's like send blank an invitation. And so I did that. And she clicked on the invitation, and I did this while I was in my choir class, and she showed up in my choir class. It was so bad. Nobody else saw it, so it was fine. But like, okay, she was in my choir class. Like, she saw my choir teacher talking. It was embarrassing. Yeah, it was really bad. And like texted her too. Like the second I did it, I realized what was gonna happen, and I was like, do not click the link, do not click the link, you will end up in my choir class. And she did it anyway, and she was in my choir class, and it was just a tad bit embarrassing. I mean, I don't know why I would be, like, why I'm really embarrassed. I guess there's not necessarily a reason, except to be, like, embarrassed that my aunt saw my class, or I don't know, but, like, the whole situation was just so awkward, and a little bit stressful, I'm not gonna lie. So that was also a fun scenario that occurred. Yeah, there's really nothing else to say. I'm trying to take this time that's like, you know, we don't have much to do. I mean, I say we don't have much to do, but I've been sort of working a lot lately on this channel and homework and, yeah, other stuff. But I'm trying to take this time for, like, self-improvement. Like, I've been doing a gratitude journal and stuff. I mean, particularly the gratitude journal is, I think, probably good for me, because if you've like listened to my voiceovers for a while, I complain a lot. I'm a very complainy person. I really don't like that about myself. I wish I wasn't, because I feel like it's kind of entitled. Like, I have a pretty good situation going in my life, and I don't really need to complain that much about it, but I do anyway. So I feel like a gratitude journal is good to, like, appreciate stuff, you know? And also, I'm just negative overall. Like, I tend to be sort of nihilistic and pessimistic and just a negative Nancy, and nobody likes a negative Nancy. I mean, except for my friends, but I don't have very many of those, so that might explain something. So, I'm trying to be more positive, which, yeah, might not be going very well, but I don't know. So yeah, gratitude journals are a thing that's happening, and I don't know, that's basically it for my self-improvement. I mean, I feel like I'm reflecting on myself more, which is, honestly, is just because I have more time to think, but that, like, self-reflection most of the time doesn't end very well for me, because I just sort of end up, like, hating myself, which isn't a good thing, you know? Like, Anyway, fun adventures in quarantine, right? So, yeah, overall, I think life is just going really well for everybody right now. And that is really all I have to say about that. So anyway, now we're doing the backyard and the why did I say the furnishing? We're not. But the backyard is a whole thing. It's huge. First of all, I started building this, by the way, on a 40 by 30 lot. Poor, sweet, naive, simple-minded Jacqueline of 3 days ago really thought this whole thing was gonna fit on a 40 by 30 lot. Okay, they have a pool house, a mansion, and this giant backyard garden area, which is like a 40 by 30 lot. Stupid of me to think that I could fit it in a 40 by 30 lot. But I really tried, and it didn't work, so that's when I ended up moving this whole thing to the 64 by 64 lot in Brindleton Bay. And admittedly, it is a bit big for the it is a bit small for the 64 by 64 lot, but I really wanted to have it in Brindleton Bay because I feel like that's like the coastal world, you know, it makes sense. I've been doing everything else. If you haven't seen the rest of the series, I've been doing like the town square stuff in Magnolia Promenade, but as for the other residences, I want to do them in Brindleton Bay. So yeah, that's what's going on. And there's no 50 by 50 lot in Brindleton Bay, unfortunately. There's like 3 40 by 30s and 1 64 by 64. No 50 by 50s. I don't know why they would do that, but they did it. So, you know, I rolled with it. And I think I'm just going to fill in like the landscaping around the fence that I didn't really fill up with the build with, like, you know, regular landscaping that blends into the surroundings pretty well. But anyway, so this whole like big garden area that I was mentioning, we see it several times throughout the series because Emily has DAR meetings out here sometimes, and so they just have like a bunch of tables set up, and there's all of these like roses and huge flower bushes and stuff. It's just really beautiful. So I was like sort of scared, intimidated to build that because, like, honestly, it's one of those things where you just see the picture of it and like, where do I even start with trying to build this, you know? But I did a few things that I feel like worked pretty well. Made these like layered planter boxes, which I really like. Actually, I think I'll probably do that more often because I think they look really well. I think they look really cool. I think they would work really well actually in like modern builds, so I'll have to experiment with that a little bit more. But I really like actually using half walls to make planter boxes. Like, just in general, it's actually a really cool type of embellishment to landscaping, I feel like, in my opinion. Sorry, I feel like I'm saying everything in this video like it's a question. I don't mean to do that. I'm not questioning like everything I'm saying, but yeah, it's just a thing I do. So anyway, basically the landscaping is just a lot of flowers and sort of just different colors and stuff. I used a few of the flower bushes from Debug, but for the most part I used Romantic Garden and Base Game, I think. And overall, I like it. It's just, this whole area feels a little bit like, I don't even know how to call it. I don't want to say magical, because I feel like that's just like, oh, look at this magical build I've done, guys, but like, you know, a little bit magical. It's just a teensy bit cool, in my opinion, at least. I think it's just nice. Like, it would be really nice to live here, dine here, hang out here. I don't know. There's this one restaurant that my family goes to frequently for like Mother's Day and stuff. That's like it's like a restaurant, but then in the back of it there's this huge garden area. You just walk through it and there's flowers and plants everywhere. It's so beautiful. So that's kind of what I was channeling when I was doing this, as well as obviously the reference pictures. But that's what I was thinking, which just like, I don't know. I feel like that is literally a place where people pay, like, they pay a decent amount of money to go dine there and then like see the gardens and stuff, right? Imagine living in a place like this. I can't. Oh, it would be cool, but then again, like I said earlier, I don't really get mansions because I feel like the resources and stuff, it's bad. But anyway, yeah, that is honestly pretty much it for the build. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, you can leave a like and comment to let me know. Subscribe if you want to see more videos, and click the bell for notifications. And if you want to play in this build, it will be up in the Sims 4 gallery as soon as the part 2 of this video goes live, and my origin ID is in the description. And I'll just leave you to watch the rest of the landscaping. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!